Hello everyone, Dave here, back with another video. Today we're going to do a tier list of Pokemon games. Tier lists are still relevant, right? Those are still stuff people enjoy. I don't know. But I did do a tier list of Dragon Quest games because Dragon Quest is one of my favorite franchises, and it's actually done pretty well, at least in comparison to my other videos. So I thought, you know what? Let's do another series that I really have enjoyed for a long time, and that's Pokemon. We're gonna just do a tier list of Pokemon games. Tier lists are still relevant, I hope. Probably not, but we're gonna do it anyway. I noticed this is kind of an older tier list. I don't think it has Scarlet and Violet on here. Those would be F tier, 100%. I couldn't even get those games to work or run, and even when they did run, I made a whole rant video about this a while back. But the game just wasn't enjoyable. Like the open world aspect is fun on paper, but if you're not gonna because you don't know where the player's gonna go, you can't really tailor a story around that, and you can't really tailor proper level gating around that either, because you have no idea which way the player's gonna go. So it just became a slog. It became walking all the way over to a place just to realize I'm not supposed to be here yet because I'm getting my ass kicked. Which, for the challenge, sure, if you're a player that likes challenge, whatever. And I'm not saying that I don't, but it was not even a challenge. It was just oh, there's no possible way I'm gonna beat this. I just wasted my time coming all the way over here. So then you got to go somewhere else, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't work. And when it did, it was not fun. So yeah, those definitely are F tier for me. I didn't enjoy those at all. If you want more in-depth thoughts, I have a video on Scarlet and Violet on my channel somewhere. But we're gonna get into the ones that I've played, which is pretty much all of them. I mean, definitely a game from every generation. I don't think I've played every single one, but we're gonna get into it. So first up, the original Japanese Pokemon Green. I have not played that, so we're just actually going to leave that there. However, I did play Pokemon Blue. I think the original Pokemon games, definitely coming back to today, are hard to play. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's C tier to me doesn't really mean bad. It just means kind of just across the board, average. There's a lot of glitches in these games. There's a lot of broken mechanics, stuff that they didn't, that they ironed out in later releases. And coming back and trying to play those older games today, for me, I just don't think I could do it. But for what it was, it's a lot of fun, and it's the game that started it all, at least for me. Next, we're gonna get into Pokemon Gold. I'm gonna put that in B tier. This technically was the game that started it all. As much as this game started the franchise for me, this was the game that I think this was the first game I've ever played. I remember playing this on my lime green Game Boy Color as a child, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it took what the first game did and just did everything better. The color added, a whole new element to it. New Pokemon, the extra badges. The story was a little bit better in my opinion. Even though, to be honest, Pokemon stories for me have never really hit. They've just kind of been a way to shuttle from town to town. But it was good. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I really liked it. I'm going to skip over Pokemon Silver because I didn't play Pokemon Silver. I did play Crystal. For me, Crystal was a lot of the same. And that's not a bad thing because I really love the second generation. It introduced the female protagonist, which was very cool. So people could play as a girl if they wanted to, which is very cool. But honestly, I don't remember. I only played Crystal, I think, once through, Gold and even Blue. I played multiple times growing up. So I don't remember that much about Crystal, to be honest. Ruby I didn't play. Sapphire I did. I'm going to put this into B tier only because Emerald is going into A tier, because everything that Sapphire did, much like, the refinement of a third game, there's the two original ones, then the third one comes along and kind of refines a lot of stuff. That's exactly what Emerald did to Sapphire and Ruby. Emerald took everything that Sapphire and Ruby did and just did it better. There was way more. There was the Battle Frontier. Battles felt snappier. They felt quicker. Um, it's something interesting that people love to say now is the third generation had a bunch of water stuff, like way too much water, which like I kind of get, but at the time I really didn't notice it or think about it, which is kind of interesting because uh, I'm not really a water Pokemon guy, although Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon of all time, so that's kind of funny. But honestly, I don't know. The secret bases were fun and addicting. Oh, I love the bases. I loved like trying to find, the best secret little hidey hole and decorating it and everything. And it was just cool. Third generation's really fun. I think that's when, like, as much as second gen is probably my personal favorite, I think third gen is just like gameplay wise where it really like may not have been at its peak because there are a lot of new stuff that's happened since then that's very cool, but it definitely is good. Fire Red and Leaf Green, I played both, but I mostly put my time into Fire Red. I'm gonna say that's honestly I'm gonna say that's an A because the first gen is really fun. Again, as much as second gen's my favorite, first gen is really cool. I love the world there. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the story doesn't really hit for me in Gen 1, but basically taking that initial region and updating it to the third gen kind of graphics engine and everything like that was really cool. A lot of these games I can't go into super detail because it's hard for me to remember every little thing because admittedly it's been a while since I played these games, but I really do enjoy Pokemon and I've definitely played a lot of them. Leaf Green I played, but I'll probably just wind up putting it in A tier as well because they're pretty similar, in a lot of ways. Next up, we have Diamond and Pearl. Both of those go into D tier. Honestly, like they work, so I wouldn't put them into F tier. But these games are so boring. The battle system, I think, is the slowest it's ever been. It is so excruciatingly slow to play this game. In the remakes, what was it, Brilliant Diamond and something Pearl or whatever. Honestly, again, I can't put those into F tier either, but those are a low D tier because they're still slow. The chibi art style is cute. I really love the art style in the remakes, but I couldn't even finish those games because they're just so slow. The Sinnoh region for me is probably the most boring. A lot of the Pokemon I don't really like that much. Just something about it just doesn't do it for me. But I did play a lot of Diamond and Pearl growing up just because those were like the first DS games and the DS was the big new hotness at the time. But yeah, it's basically like you've got a Lambo in the driveway, but then you choose to drive the busted Camry. It's like there's so much that's better. But yeah, Platinum. Now, Platinum could have straightened out a lot of the stuff, but to be honest, I didn't play Platinum. I think I was so sick of 4th Gen, I just didn't get around to it. So, a lot of what my problems could have been addressed in Platinum, but I admittedly didn't play it. Next, we have Heart Gold. Or actually, no, I didn't play Heart Gold. I played Soul Silver. That is a definite S tier. Gen 2 is honestly, it might even be S+. Gen 2 is my favorite gen, like I mentioned. Having the 2 sets of badges, upgrading it to that DS graphics engine, making it look a lot nicer. A lot of battles felt snappier, they felt quicker. The little Poke Walker thing was kind of cool. I unfortunately got a used copy, so I didn't get the little Poke Walker attachment thing. But it's cool in concept. It's kind of like a little pedometer thing. Which is cool. And yeah, I mean, just the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like that, in my opinion, is kind of how you do a remake, like especially of a game like that's already pretty damn good. You just make it better, Like I know that sounds like a no duh, but all you do is like when you have a game that's that good is you just you update the graphics, you put in a few new features, and you ship it out the door. I know that sounds kind of cynical, but it's like the same thing that happened with like the Battlefront collection, that travesty. that came out recently. All you had to do was just take Battlefront 1 and 2, make them look a little nicer, throw in a couple extra features, and ship it out the door. In my opinion, that's all they needed. But then they tried to get all fancy with online, and they tried to, online, yeah, I mean, that's cool, but the servers are crap, and then the game itself sometimes crashes constantly. I don't know. This isn't a Battlefront video. I just had to mention that. But anyway, yeah, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are perfect. Honestly, like amazing games in my opinion. But unfortunately, I didn't play Heart Gold, so I can't really rank that. But they're similar enough. Pokemon Black, I never finished, unfortunately, but I actually did enjoy my time with it. I think I'm gonna put it in C. And again, that's not a bad thing. I just don't think I had as much fun as I would with like Gold, Crystal, and Sapphire. But I really did enjoy it. Honestly, it would be a high C. Not that these are really in order, but just to signify that like this game is good. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I don't know. Not much else to say about that one. I just enjoyed it. What is this one? Black and White 2. It's weird there's no white on here. It's just black. I only played black, and I did not play Black or White 2. Or wait, maybe I did. I actually scratched that. I think I did. I think I did play Black 2. I'm gonna put that at the lower end of C tier because I forgot that I even played it. Like, I don't know if that says anything about it, but there obviously wasn't enough there that really stuck out to me because like I said, I forgot that I even played it. So I remember it, from the few bits that I can remember. I remember it being pretty fun, like how the characters from the last game, you got to see them in a new light, in a new setting, essentially, which was cool. But I don't know, it was fine. Next we have X and Y. I played Y. I'm gonna put that in S tier, to be honest. I had a lot of fun with Y. I don't really know the consensus on this one, to be honest. I don't know if people loved it. I don't know if people hated it. Oh, excuse me. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The first new like 3DS Pokemon game, I think was good. I enjoyed it. I remember training up my little Litleo, and that I named Elroy, and having him for the whole time, and just I don't know, it just felt like in the customization too, introducing that for the first time. I'm a sucker for customization, so I loved making my trainer, you know dressing him up and stuff. Like, I don't, it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Alpha Sapphire, again, it did what remakes are supposed to do, in my opinion. It just took it and made it better. It's basically just Sapphire, but better. Better graphics. They reworked some Pokemon stuff, and I don't know. And admittedly, I can't remember a lot specifically about the game that was like different than the original, besides the graphics, obviously. But from what I played, I really enjoyed. Next, we had the back half of like the 3DS lifespan. I didn't really play much. Apologies about that cut, folks. My throat just started getting super dry all of a sudden, and I was like coughing and everything. Sorry about that. Anyway, like I was saying, the back half of the 3DS lifespan, I really didn't play that much. I played a little bit of Pokemon Sun. I would put that in C just because I didn't finish it, but what I did play, I enjoyed. It was, their different take on the gym system was kind of cool, and to be honest, like, it was cool that they tried something new, because we know Game Freak does not like trying something new. They very much enjoy putting out the same schlock. Oh, and I realized Pokemon White is on here. I found it down here. Anyway, they very much like putting out the same stuff all the time. But to be honest, it just didn't click for me, but I appreciate the effort. But it was, for what it was cool. I just didn't get around to finishing it, so I can't really put it any higher. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I never played. Let's Go Pikachu. To be honest, I know this game is kind of divisive. I enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm A tier seems a little high, especially being up here with these. But I think I would put it like bottom of B tier. I know that might potentially be a hot take, but I enjoyed it. You know, as a guy who is obviously this game came out years ago, so I wasn't as old as I am now, but I'm getting to a point where like the simple capture system, the game is relatively short in comparison. It's quick, it's fun, it's easy. You know, sometimes after getting home after a day of work or working a 40-hour week, and then, you know, I have other stuff, I have other responsibilities outside of work. So, you know, I work a second job, I do stand up comedy. I like, that's not a shameless plug or anything. I'm just saying, like, I do other stuff. So it's nice to have something easy and quick. Being a grown up and someone who has other stuff that they need to attend to, it's nice to have an easy and quick game to play, and feel like you're, you know, able to finish something. Because, like, for example, I've been playing Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of the Ronin lately. Am I gonna get around to actually finishing those games? Probably not, just because I'm gonna run out of time. But or if I do get around to finishing them, it's gonna be months, which I'm fine with. But I'm just saying, like, it's nice to have that alternative sometimes. And the, you know, flicking of the wrist to catch something, it felt cool and it felt different. And I don't know. I definitely understand why people don't like these games. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But I did. I don't know. Just something about them. They had a charm to them. I enjoyed them. Uh, oh, they do have Brilliant Diamond and Shimmering Pearl or whatever on here. Those are definitely F tier. I hated the. No, I shouldn't say that. Like I mentioned before, they actually worked at least. So those go into D tier though. I really Gen 4 just wasn't it for me. I don't know what it was about it. Well, I do know what it was. It was this super slow battle system. Um, but yeah, we're gonna skip over um, the next gen for a second because that's probably gonna be my hottest take of the video. Pokemon Legends Arceus or Arceus, however you want to pronounce it, that's an S plus for sure. I loved that Game Freak did something new and it actually was fun. I like what they did, you know, when they try something new, like for example with Sun, and it doesn't work, for me personally, I can still at least look at it and say, hey, they tried. I appreciate the effort. Arceus, they really just revamped from the ground up and say, hey, what if we just made something completely different? And it proved to be their most, like, at least from a gameplay perspective, their most intriguing game yet. Being out in the world with these Pokemon, having battles happen in a pseudo real time aspect, being able to like traverse an actually interesting open world. Unlike Scarlet and Violet, where their open world was dog ass. But it was fun. It was cool. It was different. It was inventive. The time period shift was fun. The fact that, you know, we were building up the very first Pokedex was a fun motivator. And it was, you know, a simple, quick story. Like I said, this was a game that I actually was able to finish. Not, I mean, let's be real, Pokemon games haven't been that difficult for most of their lifespan, and they're not exactly like super long either. So I guess like that's, you know, kind of a moot point when comparing it to other Pokemon games. But it does feel good to actually be able to finish a game. And as someone who, you know, a couple times in this video mentioned how much I hate the Sinnoh region and Gen 4, it made me enjoy that time period. It made me enjoy that region. It made me enjoy those Pokemon. So if that doesn't say anything, you know, if that's not a big old stamp of approval on Legends Arceus, I don't know what is. Um, the new Legends game that got announced, I'm excited to see what they do with that. I'm very interested. And yeah, I really hope this is a series that continues to trend upwards because if the two last mainline games are any inclination, we're in for a rough time. Okay, finally, my biggest potential hot take, Pokemon Shield, that's going into S tier for me. Before anyone crucifies me, I know a lot of people hated this game. I didn't play Sword, so that's staying down here. But Shield, I don't know what it was. I really liked it. I put not hundreds, but like dozens, many of hours, probably at least close to 100 hours, which for me is a lot because it's hard for me to stick with a game for a super duper amount of time, so I kind of hop around a lot. But actually, I probably put over 100 hours into it. It was the first game that I actually like really enjoyed. You know, I'm not like a Pokedex maxer guy. Like, I don't really feel the need to complete the Pokedex. That's just not something I'm interested in. But Pokemon Shield, I actually wanted to try to do it. I didn't because I got bored. But, like, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I love the setting of it being based off the UK, and the gym battles feeling like a football match. As a big fan of football, and by football I mean soccer. I'm just saying football because it's based in England. But as a big fan of that, that felt cool to me. The customization was fun. Again, I love customizing my trainer. I love that that's kind of a staple now. Even though in Scarlet and Violet, the customization sucked, and you kind of had to wear your uniform the whole time. But anyway, any excuse for me to jam on Scarlet and Violet, I'm going to take. But anyway, yeah, Shield, I don't know what it was. The rifts were fun. I enjoyed playing those with friends, trying to get new rare Pokemon with different stats and everything. I don't really know, because again, a lot of people had very, very real grievances, about Shield. The fact that in this day and age, they're still not releasing games with voice acting. The fact that, the story itself wasn't really that interesting. The fact that Game Freak still continues to just do the same thing over and over and over again, aside from the few times that they try to do something different. And I totally agree with all that. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid of like, oh no, this game is great and everyone is wrong. No, like I'm totally admitting that I'm in the minority here, at least in the minority of people that I've talked to or at least seen on the internet. A lot of people really didn't enjoy Sword and Shield, or at least weren't as happy with it as I am, and I totally get that. But I don't know, just something about it for me. It hooked me. I played both DLCs. I really liked them. It was a game that really captured and held my attention for a long time. And for me, that's kind of hard to do. So I'm happy that it was able to do that. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. I think for the mainline games. Obviously Mystery Dungeon, would be in here. I really enjoyed the Mystery Dungeon games. Depending on which one some of them were actually kind of shit, but, some of them could be S tier or A tier or whatever. But these were going off the mainline game. Oh, Pokemon Yellow, I'll put in B tier, just because that was basically this game, was basically Blue, but better. I remember once I was able to get a Pikachu and a Charmander. I felt so cool that I was able to get both of those. But yeah, so there's that. So we've got S plus is Soul Silver and Arceus. S is Pokemon Y and Pokemon Shield. A is Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Alpha Sapphire. B is Gold, Crystal, Sapphire, Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Yellow. C is Black, Blue, Black 2, and Sun. D is Diamond, Pearl, and then the remakes of Diamond and Pearl. So I fully admit, and then obviously all these games down here are mainline games that I haven't played, which I know seems like a lot, but I'm not one who gets both from a generation. I usually just kind of get one and roll with that. So I have played it, just not every specific version. But anyway, that's it. I know this may be a weird list to some people. Feel free to express your thoughts in a kind and professional manner in the comments if you so wish. Um, I really do love Pokemon. I took a break because Scarlet and Violet really kind of kicked me in the nuts a little bit when it came to this franchise. Um, but I'm very excited to see what they do in the future. I still hold out a lot of hope for Pokemon, and just being a turn-based, JRPG fan, I really do love the formula. And I do want them to do something new, but at the same time, another example or Shield is like they did something new with like the Rift battles and everything, but the main gameplay for me at least was still fun, even though it needs to be updated. Like I know I'm kind of contradicting myself here, and I fully understand that, but again, I'm fully admitting that I'm in the minority. But I just something about it just hit for me. I don't know. Could I go back and play it now and be as invested? Probably not. But just at the time, it just hit for me. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. That's my Pokemon tier list. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.